long as one or two people see my stuff and I help one person, I feel like it's enough for me.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the No Money, More Plants podcast. I know we all think our moms are super moms, but in this week's episode, I'm talking to the real super mom, Ndandu Kavadi. I hope I'm saying that right. Of the Instagram page,
Yes.
at Just a Mom with a Drill is extraordinary. She is a wife, mom of 3 girls, and a DIY queen. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Lewy. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ndandu. I am a mom of three. I am married to my best friend for 13 years. And yeah, I'm a DIY enthusiast with my main focus on reusing, upcycling. And yeah, that's me.
Sure, you're a superwoman. It's really, really cool. Where did your love of DIY come from? Did you have prior experience with decor or woodworking?
DIY, I feel like it's something that's always been there from a very young age. I used to pick up stuff along the road and put things together. Obviously at that time I didn't know how to use power tools, so I just did like basic things. And I remember when I was in primary, I used to take part in some art competitions and creating stuff from scratch and stuff like that. And I don't know, I don't have any prior experience in decor or woodworking. It's something that I started using power tools quite recently, a few years ago. But then before that, I used to ask my husband to put stuff together for me. I would have this idea and then think about it, draw it, and then go to the hardware, ask them to cut the wood for me, and then come home and then ask him to just put the stuff together for me. So that's how it's always been for like a very long time. Funny enough, I have a background in accounting, which yeah, never practiced, but I studied accounting. So
It's
yeah,
so strange, eh?
yes, it is strange
It's so strange to go from accounting to like,
to woodwork. The reason why I studied accounting, I think when I was very young, my mom used to sort of discourage what the route I was taking. Um, and at some point, I felt like maybe it's not good enough. And then I think she actually confessed a few years ago, saying that the reason why she discouraged it is because she felt like what I was doing had no future. So I went ahead and I studied accounting, which I really didn't like, but I did it because that was expected of me at that time. But then again, the background in accounting does come in handy.
mm. I also think like our parents didn't know the jobs of the future, and so you can't really blame them
That
for
is true.
not
That is true.
seeing content creation as a career. Why did you decide to use Instagram specifically as your creative outlet?
I felt like at that time when I started my page, I felt like Instagram, I could relate better with Instagram and the engagement and being able to um, teach via stories and people responding and me emphasizing on what I just did. So I felt like at that time it was the perfect place for me to post my work.
Do you still feel that way though? Because I know a lot of people are complaining about how Instagram is like hiding their posts and their, reels and stories. Do you still feel
Oh,
that Instagram is that place for you or
yes, I still feel like Instagram is a place for me. I think now and then I do worry about engagement. I worry about all these small things, of which these brands, when they want to work with you, they want to see all those numbers. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't worry. As long as one or two people see my stuff and I help one person, I feel like it's enough for me.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I noticed also that you do a lot of challenges. Like you just finished the one room challenge. Um, like what made you decide to get into challenges? And do you think it has had an impact on your Instagram growth?
Um, the very first time I did the one room challenge was in 2020. I remember I used to see it a lot, and I've always had this thing of I can do that. Oh, I can do that. So I
Mm.
saw the one room challenge, and I thought maybe it's only open to the US. So I just filled in a form and I entered. I'm from South Africa. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? Because I don't think this thing is open to South Africa. And they accepted my form, and I was so shocked. And I think, yeah, my first one was in 2020. I was the only South African that entered in that year. And for me, I just want to open my mind to different things. I want to meet different people from different places and how they work and how they what like their cultures. Yes, it has had a very good impact on my growth, because today, as we stand, I have like a lot of people from outside South Africa that are actually following my page. I think over 30% of my page is outside South Africa. So it does help when I'm
Sure.
working with a brand that's international.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. I actually found you because I was looking at somebody who I follow who's in the States,
Mhm.
who like I'm like, oh, this girl is amazing. She does like makeovers and cleaning videos.
Yes.
Carissa, I don't know if you know her, and she follows you, and I was like, what? Like, how? Really amazing, like the exposure that you've gotten through all of these things. I don't know if like Carissa found you from the one room challenge, but it's for me and it's not that we need the international like people to validate what South
No.
Africans are doing.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's amazing to see that.
Yeah. And it's amazing how they do things so differently. And it all really opens your mind to a lot of things. A lot of things.
Do you think the DIY space, I feel like it's very untapped, the South African DIY space, as we spoke now.
Mm.
Why do you think that the DIY space in South Africa is so untapped?
I think, as a country, we struggle to adapt to change. The world is changing. Everything is changing. And I mean, look at how many videos are on YouTube on how to do something. I mean, I can easily change a part on my washing machine without having to take it out to a service center. So in South Africa,
Mm,
we're still struggling with, but this is work for professional. Why are you doing it? So yeah,
yeah.
I think it's just being not being able to adapt to change. I think that's the one thing. So yeah, it's not nice.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I also think like people also want to create money or to create jobs for others. So they'll like call in a painter or call in whatever to do the work for them. So sometimes it does become,
Yeah, but then again, in
um,
in the in the times that we're living in now, where petrol is 26 rand a liter, where everything else is so expensive, getting someone to come paint my house and paying them, for me, it's where do I get the money? Because now kids are going to school, there's food, there's everything. So if I could save, I know it's hard, but if I could save that few thousand rand and use it elsewhere, then things are hard.
yeah, no, things are, and it's only getting worse. So yeah, I think everyone should adapt that mentality that you have, that if you can learn and do it yourself,
Yes.
then rather do that. Yeah. How do you manage your time between like your kids and your work and getting some relaxing time, especially like when you're doing a big project?
Oh, sometimes it's very hard. Hey, there are times like now and then where I struggle and I sort of like my mind just wanders and I go back and I say, listen, you need to focus. It's not easy, especially when you have a deadline and you have a big project in ahead of you. But then now, what I've started doing recently is, if I have like, for instance, the one room challenge is over 8 weeks. You don't have to finish in 8 weeks. So I can still drag it and finish it over 12 weeks, and it's okay. So yeah, so I've started telling myself that it's okay. um,
Mm.
it'll still be there tomorrow. And unless if it's like a very strict deadline, then I make sure that during the times that my kids at school, then I do my work, and then when they're back, and then I stop, and then we continue. It's not easy though, but it's something that I'm learning. I'm still learning as I go. Yeah.
Do you set your own time? Sorry, I was thinking about this. Do you set your own times for deadlines, or do brands say that we want a specific thing within a certain time?
Okay, there's a brand that I work with. It's a long term contract that I have with them, and um, the when we agreed, the deadline was month end, last day of the end of the month. But with the other brands, it's quite flexible. They will say maybe over 6 weeks, and then I will just set my own time with regards to that. So mostly brands will tell you within this time, but then with this one, they will say the last date is the end of the month. I need to make sure that I schedule my things around that.
Sure, that requires so much discipline. Oh my word. Well done.
It does. It actually is like a job in a way. Yeah, so it does require a lot of discipline. So if you procrastinate and you leave everything till the end, you will struggle.
I think the accounting then helped you with that discipline that you need for this type of
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
definitely it helped you with
Yeah,
that. Um,
yeah. Even with budgeting, with my finances, like making sure that I stick to my budget, it does really really help a lot.
I didn't even think about like the budgets. Oh my goodness, Ndandu, this is too.
It's a lot of things. It's not just the woodworking and the DIY and and taking videos in between. You know how hard that is to take videos in between while you're working? Because usually you just want to flow,
Mm.
but you can't flow because you need to get this content out. So it's not the easiest thing. Oh my word.
But you're doing great at it. So, what advice would you give to up and coming DIYers just starting out? Like, what tools should they have? What are the most bare essentials?
I usually say to anyone that's starting out, don't start by making a cupboard or, yeah, start small. You don't have to start by making something. You can start by refurbishing something.
Mm.
Go to a secondhand shop and get a side table. Sand it down and change the knobs and change the legs. Start by doing that. While you're doing that, you're learning how to use a drill and how to hold your drill and how much torque needs to go in there. So start small,
Mm.
and then you grow from there. You grow to like much bigger things, but not immediately to big cupboards or redoing your whole kitchen. And then with the tools,
Mm.
I would say at least have in an electric drill, a drill, have a sander, because sanding manually, oh, it's so painful. Buy a little mouse sander. Those things, those little ones, they can go a very long way. Have a tape measure, have a speed square, have a spirit level, because you want to make sure that your stuff is straight whenever you maybe hanging a picture, a hammer, and a flat and a star screwdriver, and I think you set to go. And I mean, if you need to cut anything or if you want to cut some wood, hardware stores do cut those for you. So that's how I started. I went and took my cutting list to the hardware stores and asked them to cut for me because I couldn't handle holding a circular saw.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
start small.
What was the most difficult thing that like is a drawer? Because I can imagine a drawer is quite difficult to make. Is that the most difficult thing, or what is the most difficult thing that you've made, or the most challenging?
The most challenging thing, I thought the draw was challenging until I broke down all the steps, like if it's 10 steps, I broke them down into like 15 steps.
Mm.
And then I realized, wow, it actually isn't that hard. I think building a big cupboard is a big challenge. It's a bit challenging because if you don't have that thing square, oh, it will be skewed.
Really? You know, I thought
But I
it was
think
the easiest.
drawers aren't that complicated. I'm actually building one of my tutorial that's upcoming tutorials. I think in the next 2 months we'll be building a drawer. So I'll be doing what I'm doing now, what I did with the bench, taking it step by step, showing you how you do it. It actually is very easy.
Okay, no, I'll definitely watch out for that one because yeah,
You should.
I fear making a drawer. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Ndandu. I really appreciate your time. You're a busy lady, I know, but thank you so much for coming on. Please pimp yourself out. Where can people find you? On Instagram, you can just give us your handle and what other projects are you involved in?
Okay. My Instagram handle is just a mom of the drill, and I think that's the only place you can find me. And yeah, right now I'm just finishing off one. I don't have any big. Oh yes, I do have a big project coming up very soon. Oh, that I'm really excited about. I'll be building a dining room table,
Ooh,
and that will be part of my one of my tutorials. So it'll be a proper tutorial on how to build a dining room table from scratch. That I'm excited about.
oh,
So I think it'll be happening in July, August, I think.
okay, cool.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ndandu. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Lebu. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yay!
Thank you for listening. If you found this podcast helpful, please remember to like and share it. See you in the next one.